Women walking around with chips on their shoulders. Women who are mad at other women, mad at men, and even mad at God. And they're mad because of things that have happened to them in their past. Let me tell you some of the characteristics of a mad black woman. And you tell me if you recognize anyone in particular. A mad black woman is bitter and mean for no obvious reason. She loves to take revenge, so always watch your back. She's quick to tell you what's wrong in your life, but don't you dare give her a suggestion about her life. A mad black woman blames other people for every little thing that goes wrong. She goes off on you without even being provoked. When good things happen, she can't rejoice because of her suspicious nature. She always sees something bad lurking around the corner. She messes up the good things in her life. She runs away the good men in her life. And she can never get ahead in life because she's always holding on to some grudge, some hurt, some pain from the past, and it keeps holding her down. She's living in the present with wounds from the past and no vision for the future. Let me say that again. She's living in the present with wounds from the past and no vision for the future. Have you ever met a mad black woman? Some of you are saying, yeah, that's Sister so-and-so. But if we're honest with ourselves, many of us will have to say, that's who I've become. But don't despair. There's hope for you. You see, if the person that I've described is you or someone that you love, pay close attention to what happens next in Hagar's life. She's huffing, she's puffing, she's fussing, she's cussing, she's hurting, and she's running away. And she's on a road back to Egypt, the road to Shur. And at some point, she becomes overwhelmed. Maybe she loses her directions. And at some point, she becomes so overwhelmed that she just stops on the way. And maybe she pulled out her diary and wrote something like this. Dear diary, can you believe how Abraham and Sarah are tripping? Last night when Abram was whispering in my ear, he told me I mean the world to him. But this morning he told Sarah that I don't mean anything. He says I'm just his baby's mama. And Sarah, oh, she better be so lucky that I'm pregnant, because if I wasn't, it would be on. But look at this. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. And I don't know what to do next. Have you ever been there? Have you ever walked in Hagar's shoes? Have you ever watched your life spiral out of control and it's no fault of your own, it's because of what somebody else has done to you? I'm here to tell you this morning that you are not alone. In fact, God pays special attention to hurting people. The Bible in Genesis 16:7 says, now the angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on the way to Shur. And I get choked up every time I picture this scene, because this was no ordinary angel that came to talk with Hagar. It was the Almighty in archangel's apparel. It was Christ and Cupid clothing. It was God and guardian angel garb. And God was there himself. He was so moved by Hagar's pain. He was so concerned about what was happening in Hagar's life that God actually stepped down out of heaven to come and talk to Hagar. Hagar, Sarah's slave. Hagar, a mere maid. Hagar, a woman of color. Hagar, a nobody in the world's eyes. Hagar, the sexually exploited. Hagar, an unwed mother. Hagar, a mad black woman, was so special in God's sight that he actually stepped down out of heaven to speak a word of peace in her life. She was Abraham and Sarah's trash, but she was God's treasure. God wanted her to know how much he loved her and how much he cared for her. And so he stepped down out of heaven and met her by the well on the way to shore. And you may not have realized this, Allen Chapel, but God's meeting with Hagar was the first time since Adam and Eve that God talked face to face with a human being. Oh yeah, before God walked with Abram on the plain, he talked with Hagar in the desert. Before God commissioned Moses by a burning bush, he consoled Hagar by a well of water. Before God proclaimed to Joshua that he was captain of the Lord's host, he promised Hagar that he would be captain of her life. And even before God empathized with 3 Hebrew boys in the midst of a fiery furnace, he sympathized with a mad black woman in the middle of the desert. And if you're a mad, black, Latino, white, Asian, Indian, or other woman, please take note. You see, people might treat you wrong. Somebody might abuse you. Somebody else might use you. People may treat you like trash, but you are always treasure in God's eyes. And God has already stepped down out of heaven to meet your needs. You see, Calvary isn't just about your sins. That's a big part of Calvary, yo. But it's also about your day-to-day walk with Christ. You see, that's why God rushes every morning to meet you. That's why he's looking for you to communicate with him in the noonday. That's why when you have problems, he says to come boldly to the throne of grace. It's because you are treasure in his eyes, and he's got everything that you need. Genesis 16, verse 8. It's a powerful text. God actually speaks to Hagar. And I want you to notice that it's a question and not an answer. He says, Hagar, Sarah's maid, where have you come from? And where are you going? Hagar's response, I am fleeing from the presence of my mistress. Did you notice what I noticed? God gave a 2-part question. Where have you come from? Where are you going to? But Hagar can only answer half of that question. She knows where she's come from, but she doesn't know where she's going. And even though she's run away from Sarah and she's technically free, notice that she still calls Sarah her mistress. Mad black women, God is making a profound point with this passage. You see, our anger is futile. It serves no purpose. It only keeps us running on a path to nowhere. There's an old saying that you can never get ahead if you're always trying to get even. Some of you have to think about that one. Let me tell you, you may have every reason in the world to be mad at the situations in your life. You probably have a right to be a mad black woman. You probably have a right to be angry about how people have treated you. Some of us here today have been abused, and some of us have been abandoned. Some of us have been victimized, and some of us have been violated. Some of us have been humiliated, and others of us have been alienated. Collectively, we face every kind of harm, hurt, pain, anguish, agony, affliction that one could imagine.